And we are back on Big Board Sports, joined by Mark DeRosa with a lot going on in MLB as we get closer to the trading deadline on the 31st. And, of course, Mark, MLB Network analyst, and you can catch him every morning on MLB Central. Played 16 seasons in the majors. Mark, thanks for a few minutes here on Big Board Sports, ESPN Radio in Albany.
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Mark, let's start with the AL East race. Red Sox are widening the gap a little bit. How do you see this playing out? Are the Yankees still a contender to win the division?
Yeah, certainly. Hats off to the Red Sox. First team to 70 wins, and on pace to set a franchise record for wins. Listen, bottom line, it's the totality of a long season, 162. The Yankees certainly are capable of getting hot and running the Red Sox down without question. That being said, I can understand a little trepidation because, you stare yourself at, if you're not able to win that East, you stare yourself at a wild card game where you're probably going to have to use Luis Severino in it to make sure you get into the division series. And then kind of the bugaboo with this team or kind of the Achilles heel, if there is one, and I still feel super comfortable handing the ball to the likes of guys like CC Sabathia, and Tanaka has pitched well in postseasons before. But you'd be walking into certainly a buzzsaw if you had to take on Cleveland or Houston with your 2-3-4 on the mound against a Verlander, a Kluber, a Charlie Morton, or a Carrasco-type Bauer situation. So, I think it's paramount these last 2 months that the Yankees do something impactful. That's the problem, though, Chris. I don't know who's going to walk in that door come July 31st that's really going to change the entire dynamic of what the Yankees are about. I mean, maybe a Manny Machado would have, but do they need another right-handed power bat? Are they just going to choose to outslug teams and maybe go after some offense, or everyone thinks they need a starter? Well, who's the starter that's going to go in there that would make you feel any more comfortable than CC Sabathia, Masahiro Tanaka, or Sonny Gray? So I think it's an interesting situation for Brian Cashman.
I'll give you a name of someone who would change the equation for the Yankees. How about Jacob DeGrom?
If you could get him, you could pretty much, I'd be willing to almost start shifting the trophy and pushing it across the table a little bit. Jacob DeGrom is elite of elite. He changes the entire direction of an organization if he's going to be moved. From everything I've read and heard, for them to want to trade him to another team in New York would be almost mind-numbing. To me, I think you do what you got to do to make your organization better. So if the Mets feel like they could get an absolute haul, and that's what it would take, he'd be. I think the only option, and there's some darn good pitchers out there. I mean, Cole Hamels, Jay Happ, the guys that have been listed up and down the line recently. Chris Archer, who went out and punched out 13 his last start, can certainly help ball clubs. But no one would be walking in with the ilk of Jacob DeGrom.
Mark DeRosa from the great state of New Jersey. He played at Bergen Catholic, before Penn, and then 16 seasons in the big leagues. Majority of those spent with the Atlanta Braves, and made 6 trips to the postseason. You can find him every weekday morning, MLB Central, 10 o'clock, of course, on MLB Network, and part of the National Baseball Hall of Fame induction ceremony, which you can see only on MLB Network this Sunday, July 29th, starting at 11 o'clock. All right, Mark, the buzz, of course, around Yankee land is Gary Sanchez not running out that ground ball. Now, he hits the disabled list on Tuesday afternoon, and so maybe it's a re-aggravation of that groin injury. As a Braves fan, I remember Bobby Cox pulling no punches with Andrew Jones in 1998, didn't run in for a pop fly, it fell in front of him, and Bobby pulled him mid-inning. How do the Yankees assuming that it isn't just the injury, that maybe there was a lack of hustle there. How do they handle something like that?
Yeah, I think the injury is, and I hate to speak about guys because you don't know necessarily how they're feeling, how they're hurting. If the Yankees went to him and said, hey, we don't want to see you going 100% down the line.
Yep.
I personally think that's a cop-out. I've done what he's done in the ninth inning. Maybe not in the ninth inning to end a game, but you talk about Andrew Jones being pulled out of a game. And, Bobby was certainly a father figure and was a man who taught a lot of great lessons to a lot of us. I did exactly that at Joe Robbie against the Marlins. Hit of what I thought should have been an absolute missile up the middle, someone standing there. The exchange at second didn't go according to plan, and there I was jogging to first base mad that I didn't have a base hit. Subsequently pulled from the game by Bobby Cox in the seventh inning. So I'd be lying if I sat here and said, I hustled on every play, I didn't have mental mistakes, I was perfect. That was not the case. So the last out of the game, I'm almost willing to give him a pass on it, but not following what happened in the first two innings. You can't mess up lack of hustle and then 6 innings later give me lack of hustle again. You can't be getting crossed up with Luis Severino. This is stuff that's discussed prior to the game. You've been catching him a long time. They should be on the same page. It's interesting though. I said this on the air today. I did the 2015 Futures game in San Diego with Matt Vasgersian, and Moises Alou was the manager of the World Team, and Gary Sanchez was playing, and he was the top hot prospect, and him and Moncada, and we were going to get a chance to see Sanchez, and the first thing out of Moises Alou's mouth said was, he's committed to the game now. You can tell he's got that look in his eye that he's committed to the game. Well, I took it as, I guess he wasn't committed to the game prior to that.
Yep.
So that's kind of been the rub on him his entire career. And I think, if you're Aaron Boone, I mean, certainly this guy's got world beater potential. We all know it. He could win an MVP. He could put this team on his back and carry them for weeks at a time. So the talent's there, and that's why you hate to see the lack of hustle. But you can't lose him mentally. He's too valuable to your team. So, I think Aaron's got a tough job there because you got to let him know that what he did is unacceptable, but not lose him mentally at the same time. So, just bad optics all around, and it can't continue.
Mark, MLB Network is your home for the National Baseball Hall of Fame induction ceremony this coming Sunday, July 29th, starting at 11 a.m. Mark, a former teammate of yours, Chipper Jones, is going in this year. Do you have a story about Chipper you can give us?
I got a gajillion Chipper stories. He was my guy. I mean, I shared a locker next to him for about 4 or 5 years. So on one hand, guys who impacted my career, certainly he played a pivotal role in teaching me how to game plan, how to watch video, how to play with confidence, how to approach every at bat like it was almost a math problem, and let your natural ability take over after that. The things I could go on and on about sitting in countless hotel rooms across the country nights before games and him already processing the next day's pitcher and how they were going to attack him. And I'd say he was right 9 times out of 10. So I learned a ton from him. And the thing I want people to know and kind of what I'll resonate when I'm up there doing the show is this guy wasn't just one city. You said it yourself. You're a fan because of the Superstation, and growing up as a kid in New Jersey, he represented a brand. He was an icon of the entire Southeast. You travel from Florida to Tennessee, North Carolina, all over the place down there. He was the guy. Signature swag, the way he carried himself. So, I'm fired up to get a chance to see him go in.
Check him out on Twitter, at MarkDRO7. Mark, I checked out your baseball reference page, so correct me if I'm wrong and they're wrong, but it didn't look like you ever pitched in a game, and yet we see Joe Madden use 4 positional guys the other night.
Yeah.
And how many now? 30-some this season. Do you ever wish you got to throw?
I actually didn't. I know everybody says they want to. I was asked in 2006 or 2005 by Buck Showalter if I wanted to do all 9 the last day of the season. We were in Seattle, and he gave me that option, and I don't know. Something in me told me not to do it. Like, I don't remember the name of a single guy who ever did it, so I kind of was like, I'm not gonna disrespect the game, or maybe that's a foolish way of thinking, but that's kind of, I worked too hard to get to the big leagues as a position player that I didn't want to kind of dumb it down.
Mark, let you get out of here on this, man. If people aren't watching MLB Central, they need to. When you and Eric Burns appear on the same television screen, it is must-see TV. Who's got more energy out of you two guys?
Not even close. It's him, and seriously, I cannot keep up with him. He was swimming with sharks yesterday behind AT&T Park.
Mark, we appreciate it. Keep up the great work. Thanks for a few minutes here on Big Board Sports, ESPN Radio in Albany.